Hey YouTubers, Hike with Mike here, of course. It's another day in the woods. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day in the jungly swamps. Well, it's nice to hear the insects in the woods. I think the last time I went out, it was the Erie hiking trip where there was no sound and it was really creepy. But today, going back to my jungly environs, nice shade. This time of year, the summertime in Florida, particularly for inexperienced hikers, is if you're going to do a hike, do it early in the morning before noon, where it starts to get really hot. And also, by then, you can start to get the really bad thunderstorms that pop up almost every day in the summertime. But it usually takes them a few hours to get all ready to go, to explode. So I'll be out here. They changed the trail around a little bit. That used to be the original trail, but it looks like the Florida Trail folks came through. They put some new trail markers on, nice. And then there was a tree that fell here. I think that's why they changed the path over to here and then had to repaint all the trail markers. So it's nice to be here and enjoy the woods. And it's nice and quiet, civilization noises, but still you can hear the songs of the woods, which is always beautiful music. A lot of aircraft traffic noise because as planes head into here, they use the river, I think, or the pilots use the river as a guideline to reach the next destination in this particular area. I imagine on Friday when they had that big computer issue, it must have been really quiet out here. I'm telling you what though, wow. There are a lot of fallen trees in the woods today. I haven't been here in a while. Wow, one here, another one up here. Crazy. We had been getting a little bit of rain lately. A couple of good downpours. But we were in such a deficit of rain going into the summer that I pretty much expect the swamp to still be pretty dry and way below levels. I mean, sometimes even probably like a quarter mile from where the swamps start. Over here, sometimes when we got the opposite, I'd be walking through where this is, you can see it's more of an upland, drier area, was filled with water. Was doing swamp hiking in the normally dry lands. That's probably about 10 or 12 years ago. So, look at that cool fern growing in the middle of the oak tree. All the growth on the tree. The tree's alive, not only on the inside, but on the outside. That's really cool. I'm on an old fire road, but it's really overgrown. Ah, ticks. So I gotta check my legs and boots regularly. Every dozen yards or so. I hope I'm on the right trail. It seems like I'd be reaching the swampy area by now. Ah, okay, I recognize this fire road, and there's a few remains of an old ranch architecture there. Most of it's gone. It's mostly just a tin roof and some rotting house parts, almost like a log cabin type thing, or chicken coop, or cattle pen, something like that. Didn't see a lot of barbed wire, but they probably took that and reused it. All right, now There's less grass here, so I'm gonna take a minute to check for ticks, and then I'll come back in a little bit. I just got a scent of something smelly. I hope it's not a bear, because in this jungly-like conditions, I could walk up on it, surprise it, or vice versa. I got my ears perked now, my eyes on the horizon. I think I'm almost Otter Point. Alrighty, I'll check back in later. Well, normally the mosquitoes usually don't bother me a whole lot, but I think I was just vastly outnumbered when I got to Otter Point. I was going to do a video there, but even by my standards, the mosquitoes were way too thick. And I also didn't want to spray my entire body in bug spray. Just on my shoes and socks. So I think I'm going to find a place where there's some wind, so a bit more out in the open, kind of keep the mosquitoes away. I tell you what, it's a bad day to be here. You got constant airplane noise, and I'm getting closer to the river, so I have constant airboat noise. So hate all that noise pollution. Kind of just ruins the vibe for me. But it is what it is for today. You can't win. You can come out here in the summertime, you know, where conditions are horrible for most people, and you have the whole place to yourself. But you can't never escape the gosh darn noise of the civilized world. Don't really dig it, so it's like, get out of my woods with that noise. Alrighty, onward. I hope this isn't a long forest road. It should take me to the main road, and then I'll be more out in the open. Unfortunately, closer to the river, so there's a lot of airboats. It doesn't make for good filming, but we'll see. Found something very interesting. I never noticed it before. I'm glad I went down this road for a little bit. Look at this. This looks like it could be a cattle pen. I think it's too small. Maybe for hogs, chickens. See, it's in not very good shape. No trespassing. You don't want it to collapse in on you. There's some barbed wire. Wow, I never noticed this before. Well, that's a cool find. Look at those big old tractor tires left behind too. Wow, that was cool. Wow. You know, I walked right past it. Didn't even notice it. But on the way back, because I thought I'd take a shortcut on the fire road instead of finishing up the trail. But it looked like I wasn't making a lot of progress towards the main road, so I'll just finish the trail. It's not probably a quarter of a mile more, half mile tops. Get back to the main road, and then figure out where I want to film so I don't get eaten alive by mosquitoes and have a little bit less noise. Got a big, delicious meal today. And there's some babies in there too. So they're happy. Nice big meal for them. Well, I'm finally at the end of the hike, and I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the hike, that I had a new series called Books That Shaped My Life. And a lot of you who watch my channel know I use this term a lot, called good medicine. And the first book that I'm going to share with you is where I got that term from. And it's from a book called The Tracker by Tom Brown Jr. And it's about a kid. It's a true story. Later on, he became a tracker and a survival teacher. Let me get on with the story. I guess I was about 12. My mom was always encouraging reading in our house, and we had lots of books, and my mom always got Reader's Digest every month. And in the back of the Reader's Digest, the last section was a condensed version of a new book that comes out, and I always read them. I was always kind of excited when they came in the mail, and I read one, and it was a condensed version of the Tracker book, and it went over. We're gonna have to deal with some airboat noise, so hopefully you can hear me, but the river's right about 75 yards away. Anyway, where was I going now? So one time, I guess I was about 12, they had the Tracker book, and I read it, and I became fascinated. Wanted to get the book and read the book too, but there was so much in that condensed Reader's Digest version that kept me happy for a while. But anyway, at that point I was a suburban kid living in the north, and but there was still, you know, some wild places, some vacant lots and stuff where you could run around in the woods and stuff, and I'd love to be there. You know, I'd ride my bike to some of the county and state, not really state parks, county and town parks, and wander the trails a lot. And it was a year before we were going to move to Florida too, so I was getting ready for a big change in my life in the following year. But anyway, I love the book because it was about him. It starts with him growing up as a child in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, which is a pretty extensive wilderness even today. And he accidentally, there was an Air Force base nearby, so there were soldiers from all over the country, and he was in the woods, I think, collecting fossils, and he meets, I'm not going to give you the whole story, he meets a Native American kid around the same age, and his grandfather lived on the base that where the kid's father was stationed, and the grandfather would take them out in the woods, and he would teach him, he was a Yaqui Indian, and he would teach them ways to survive in the woods and skills and things like that, and it fascinated me. And we're hearing all kinds of weird noises here. It sounds like bucks hussing or hissing. But anyway, getting very distracted on this. I read it dozens of times. I'd go out and kind of practice some of the things in the books, me and some of my buddies, but mostly me. But that's where I discovered my love of the wilderness and my love to where I wanted to be, a significant portion of my life in the woods, because for me it's like another home. And it definitely shaped my life. And then, you know, I was in the more suburban area, then I moved to Florida, which was much more wild and jungly and swampy. So then when I got to wander around in there, it was awesome, just like I do now, like how many years later, almost 50 years later. But that ignited my love for the woods and curiosity about being in the woods, and love being in the woods. And so it was definitely a book that shaped my life. So this book definitely was, drum roll, good medicine. Hope you enjoyed my first episode of Books That Shaped My Life.